pound business. And I've done it the hard way, brick by brick, slogging my guts out, saving up money and investing it back in. But now
slogging through the mud.
Slogging through the Bornean rainforest.
If you get tired of slogging around over there, jogging.
You know, I left home when I was 16, slogged my guts out and built up some investment property because I worked harder than most people. You know,
A lot of the tough slogging on the farm ain't really necessary no more, but you won't stop it.
Just two people slogging through the shit, year after year, getting older, changing.
As we slogged through the hedgerows and across France, the sergeant began keeping to himself.
Keep your stupid hat! 15 years I've slogged to get where I am!
How's the writing thingy going? Terrible. I can't even get my foot in the door.
You got your foot in the door, or in this case, your foot in Jessica.
So you get a foot in that door.
To get my foot in the door.
You heard foot in the door? Of course.
I'm telling you, she's got her foot in the door and she will never leave.
Okay, foot in the door.
You get your foot in the door.
And kind of use that as an icebreaker to get your foot in the door.
Now that we can do that, if I can get my foot in the door.
There was no need for you to get your foot in the door.
Oh yes, only to get my foot in the door.
Get your foot in the door, so be it.
I was just trying to get one foot in the door.
Me?
Then be sure to get your foot in the door when Bates is gone.
You've already got a foot in the door.
And you can't get your foot in the door without us.
We could get our foot in the door.
But this'll get you a foot in the door.
A lot of young people are taking unpaid positions to get a foot in the door. That's something.
It is the beginning. It is a start. It's a foot in the door.
We are going to have an awful job trying to break this down simply because they're on a cushy little number.
True, because not being funny, but most of the DRs will give their right arm to being fraud or a cushy number like that. Do you know what I mean?
On their payroll. Now, why would a company do this? Well, guys, in the world of proprietary trading, people get really close to intellectual property. Now, companies do not want you divulging that intellectual property to competing firms the moment you leave the door. And to do so, they will have a clause in your employment contract with regards to garden leave, meaning you are paid to sit at home and do nothing. You are barred from employment. The idea is that the longer your garden leave, the less likely the information that you retain is considered valuable after you've left the organization, right? So because trading is so dynamic, models that are built today and traded on today are most likely not going to be used in 6 months' time. Hence, the information that you have today will not be as relevant after you leave the firm in 6 months' time. Now, how does the organization decide how long to put you on garden leave for? Should they put you on garden leave for a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year, or longer? Well, there are some legal limits. I don't think that they can put you on garden leave unjustifiably for more than a year or two. I guess it depends on the firm, really. But there's a couple of other factors, and the underlying theme here, guys, is proximity to intellectual property. This video is going to be interesting, but before we get into it, where are my manners? My name is Coding Jesus. I'm a quantitative developer, meaning I write server and client-side applications for traders at the firm that I work at. Now, what's all this about being paid to not work? In most traditional industries, if you don't work, you don't get paid. In fact, many lunch breaks are unpaid lunch breaks. In the industry of quantitative trading, there is a policy called garden leave, and you'll often see this on people's LinkedIn profiles. On garden leave for 6 months, on garden leave for 11 months, on garden leave for 1.2 years. Garden leave is a period of time after termination or resignation in which you get paid to not work, meaning you are no longer a member or an employee of this organization, but you are still on their payroll. Now, why would a company do this? Well, guys, in the world of proprietary trading...
This is a story hot off the press from yesterday night on Twitter. So Juliet Bauer, digital lead NHS England, has led to a new term in the Financial Times, the new revolving door from the Health Ministry to the health app industry. So this is a problem. There's freedom of movement for people to work wherever they want, but she's not had a period of gardening leave. She's not declared an interest when she's been promoting this app. Is that a problem? Yes, potentially. Any conflict of interest, any potential limitation on the use of knowledge and output needs to be declared. So the Darzi Review of Healthcare, I mentioned this. This has said that £12 billion can be saved across different professions, across various functions in healthcare. That's a massive amount of money.
Garden leave describes the practice whereby an employee leaving a job, having resigned or otherwise had their employment terminated, is instructed to stay away from work during the notice period while still remaining on the payroll. This is used when an employee position is no longer needed during the notice period. In order to maintain the employee's non-compete clause, this practice is often used to prevent an employee from taking with them up-to-date, and perhaps sensitive, information when they leave their current employer, especially when they are very likely leaving to join a competitor. The term is in common use in banking and other financial employment in Britain, Australia, and New Zealand. Sometimes the practice is used to avoid lackadaisical work or sabotage by an uninterested or disaffected employee. The term originated in the British civil service, where employees had the right to request special leave for exceptional purposes. Gardening leave became a euphemism for suspended, as an employee who was formally suspended pending an investigation into their conduct would often request to be out of the office on special leave instead. The term came to widespread public attention in 1986 when it was used in the BBC sitcom Yes, Prime Minister episode One of Us. Employees continue to receive their normal pay during garden leave and must adhere to their conditions of employment, such as confidentiality and non-compete clause, at least until their notice period expires. A similar practice applies in the United States, where an employee, typically a high-ranking executive, that is immediately relieved of responsibilities usually remains with the company as a consultant, special advisor, for the remainder of their contract, continuing to receive a salary in office during that period. The term can also refer to the case of an employee sent home pending disciplinary proceedings, when they are between projects, or when, as a result of publicity, their presence at work is considered counterproductive. It has also been used in British football.
And then I spent my 2 months of gardening leave, like, worried they were going to have me killed because I was super paranoid and like feel like kind of like.
Because of that, I've been given gardening leave, even though I only have a deck.
Makes us no better than the imperial countries we censure.
Sank like a lead balloon.
Rising your integrity for us.
Got integrity, Charlie.
As the saying goes, those who can't do, teach.
I will ooze integrity.
Slurring your words.
All her words.
You slur your speech.
I need you slurring your words. He was slurring.
You're kidding.
Word slurring. Hysteria.